Here's a truth many men don't want to hear. If you're being taken for granted, it's often because you allowed it to happen. Yeah, that stings. But let's be real. No one just wakes up one day and decides to value you less unless you gave them a reason to. If a woman starts missing you after you're gone or distant, it's not some mysterious magic. It's the result of something you showed her over time: your worth, your value, or sadly, sometimes your absence. The problem is, many men fall into the trap of being too available. You know the type, always ready to answer her texts, drop everything to help, say yes even when you don't want to, or sacrifice your own happiness to keep the peace. At first, it feels good to be needed, but eventually, being taken for granted kicks in. She starts assuming you'll always be there. And here's the brutal part. When something is always there, we stop appreciating it. It's a tough lesson, but women start missing the man they took for granted only after he stops showing up like before, after he becomes less accessible, less on demand. When you reclaim your time and self-respect, suddenly the value you gave her is clearer, because absence really does make the heart grow fonder. If you want to avoid this mistake or understand why it happens, you need to realize that missing someone isn't about fairy tale love. It's about real respect and balance. In this video, I'll break down how men get taken for granted, why it happens, and what you can do to become the man who's not just missed, but truly valued. 1. Don't chase. Disappear. Here's a truth most men don't want to hear. Chasing a woman who's ignoring you only makes you less valuable in her eyes. It's harsh, but true. When you constantly text, call, or try to get her attention, you become predictable, needy, and easy to take for granted. That's the exact opposite of what you want. Disappearing isn't about playing games. It's about showing you respect yourself enough not to beg for someone's time or affection. If she's ignoring you, the best move is to step back completely. Stop sending messages. Stop liking her posts. Stop showing up in her life. This disappearance creates space and mystery. She starts wondering what happened to you. Suddenly, you're no longer the guy who's always there on demand. You become the man who has his own life, interests, and pride. It's also a way to protect your self-worth. Chasing after someone who ignores you is exhausting and damaging. When you disappear, you're choosing yourself over the validation of someone who clearly isn't interested right now. 1. Example. Imagine you've been texting a woman every day for 2 weeks, but she barely responds and takes hours or even days to reply. Instead of sending more messages or asking why she's distant, you stop texting completely. You delete her chat notifications and focus on your hobbies or friends. After a few days of silence, she might start reaching out because she notices you're no longer available to her instantly. You've shifted the power back to you. Disappearing is your way of saying, I'm not desperate and I won't waste my time. That's how you regain respect, both from her and, more importantly, from yourself. 2. Stop being her backup plan. If you're the guy she turns to only when no one better is available, you're not just being ignored, you're being used. And here's the hard truth. Being a backup plan kills your chances of ever becoming her priority. Yet, most men don't even realize they're playing this role because they're too eager to stay close, no matter what. When a woman ignores you but still lets you hang around, it's often because you're convenient. She knows she can call on you when things don't work out elsewhere. This position makes you weak in her eyes and destroys your confidence. To stop being her backup plan, you have to draw a clear line. If she's not giving you attention or respect, stop waiting around for her crumbs. Stop responding to her late texts or random invites that feel more like favors than genuine interest. Instead, show that you're the prize, not the fallback. This means focusing on your life, building your social circle, and having clear boundaries. If she ignores you, don't keep pushing for her attention hoping she'll come around. She won't, at least not until you show that you won't stick around on the sidelines forever. By walking away from the backup role, you force her to rethink how she sees you. Either she steps up and treats you like a priority, or you move on with your dignity intact. 2. Example. Say she cancels plans last minute and only contacts you when other options fall through. Instead of accepting this, you tell her you're busy or simply don't respond right away. Then you make plans with your friends or focus on your goals. She starts to realize you're not always there as a fallback. Either she values you more or you avoid wasting time on someone who doesn't. Remember, being her backup plan is a slow way to lose yourself. Stop it before it costs you your self-respect. 3. Ignore her ignoring you. It sounds crazy at first. How can you ignore someone who's ignoring you? But that's exactly the mindset you need to develop. When a woman ignores you, your first instinct might be to get upset, feel hurt, or start overthinking every little thing you said or did. You might even try harder to get her attention. That's a trap. Ignoring her ignoring you means you don't let her silence or distance control your emotions or actions. You don't give her power over your mood or your day. Instead, you carry on like nothing's wrong. You act like you're busy, focused, and completely unaffected. Think about it. When someone ignores you, it stings. It feels like rejection. But what if you flipped that? What if her silence was just noise in the background while you kept living your life full speed ahead? You've probably been there, waiting for a message that never comes, refreshing your phone obsessively, or trying to decode why she's suddenly cold. But the truth is, none of that helps you. It only drags you down and makes you lose control. When you ignore her ignoring you, you build emotional strength. You stop needing her approval to feel good about yourself. You stop the mental games and constant stress over what she's thinking. This shift frees you. It makes you unpredictable and more attractive because you're not chasing validation. Plus, this mindset protects you from getting hurt too much. You're not invested in her reaction anymore. You're focused on your own goals, your own happiness. The irony? When you stop reacting to her silence, she might start noticing you more. But even if she doesn't, you win, because you kept your dignity. So stop obsessing over her ignoring you. Act like it's nothing, because for your peace of mind, it should be nothing. 4. Make her miss your silence. Here's the reality check most men desperately need. If you're always available, always responding, always trying to fix things, you're teaching her that she doesn't need to miss you. You're making yourself invisible by being too visible. Men, it's time to wake up. Constantly chasing her attention only makes you less attractive. It's like you're handing her the remote control to your emotions, and trust me, that's a bad deal. Too many guys act like a doormat, ready to jump whenever she texts or calls, no matter how little effort she puts in. This approach kills attraction. It sends the message that you have no life outside of her, and nothing says forgettable faster than a man who's always there, begging for attention. Silence is your secret weapon. When she ignores you, instead of flooding her with messages or apologies, make yourself scarce. Let your silence create a gap she can't fill with just a quick text. When you stop being an open book, she starts to wonder what you're up to, who else you're with, and why you're suddenly not hanging around like before. This isn't about playing childish games or manipulation. It's about self-respect and showing you value your time and energy. Silence says you're busy, confident, and not desperate for her approval. And nothing is more attractive than a man who has his own world and isn't waiting for her to show up in it. Wake up, men. Stop handing her your time like it's free. Make her miss you. Let the quiet space between you become the place where attraction grows, not the endless noise of you chasing after her. When you make her miss your silence, you reclaim your power. 5. Respect yourself. First, always men, listen closely. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. This isn't some cliche. It's the foundation of every relationship, especially when a woman is ignoring you. Too many guys lose themselves trying to win her back, bending over backward, ignoring their own needs just to get a little attention. That's where everything goes wrong. Respecting yourself means knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. If she's ignoring you, don't lower your standards or beg for her time. Instead, remind yourself that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable. You're not a backup option, a convenience, or someone to be ignored. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating bad treatment. You stop putting up with silence that makes you anxious or desperate messages that go unanswered. You draw a line and stick to it, showing that your self-worth isn't negotiable. Respect isn't about arrogance or being cold. It's about valuing who you are and what you bring to the table. When you act from a place of respect, you naturally demand the respect of others. You become a man who is confident, steady, and unshakable, even if she's ignoring you. You can relate to this. Ever felt crushed after reaching out again and again with no response? Felt like you lost a piece of yourself in the process? That's what happens when you ignore self-respect. But it's fixable. Start by putting yourself first. Invest in your goals, your passions, and your friendships. When you do that, you remind yourself that you're enough, and she's missing out. So, don't chase attention at the expense of your dignity. Respect yourself first, always. That's the real game changer. 6. Confidence beats desperation. Look, desperation is the fastest way to kill attraction. When a woman ignores you, it's easy to panic, worry, or start acting needy. But here's the truth. Desperation screams insecurity, and insecurity pushes people away, fast. If you want her attention back, confidence is the only thing that works. Confidence doesn't mean being loud or aggressive. It means knowing your worth without needing constant validation. It means being okay with silence because you trust yourself enough not to crumble when she's distant. Desperation, on the other hand, makes you appear weak, as if your whole world depends on her response. Think about it like this. Who do you find more attractive? Someone calm, composed, and secure in themselves, or someone who's texting nonstop, begging for replies? The answer is obvious. Women pick up on your energy, and confidence feels like strength and independence. You might be thinking, but if I don't show interest, she'll forget about me. That's a common fear, but the opposite is true. When you stay confident and hold your ground, she notices. You become the prize, not the problem. Confidence also protects your emotions. Instead of letting her ignoring you, shake your self-esteem, you stay grounded. You keep your focus on what matters, your goals, your friends, your life. This shift makes you more interesting and magnetic because you're not trying too hard. Men, it's time to wake up and ditch desperation. If she ignores you, don't fall into the trap of over-texting or over-explaining. Show up with confidence, even if you have to fake it at first. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Confidence beats desperation every single time. So own your value and watch how things change. 7. Let her come to you. Here's something most men don't get. When a woman ignores you, the best move isn't to chase harder. It's to step back and let her come to you. Sounds simple, but it goes against everything you've been told or felt. The truth is, if she's interested, she'll make the effort. If she's not, no amount of chasing will change that. Men often try to control the situation by flooding her with messages or calls, hoping to force a reaction, but this only pushes her further away. You lose power when you try to pull her in. Instead, you need to flip the script. By letting her come to you, you show confidence and self-respect. You make it clear you have your own life and priorities, and you're not waiting around for her attention. This puts the ball in her court. She has to decide if she wants to be part of your life. This approach isn't about being cold or ignoring her completely. It's about balance. You focus on yourself, your growth, your social circle, and your goals. When you do this, you become more attractive because you're not desperate or needy. Waiting for her to come to you might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to chasing, but it's the most powerful move you can make. It forces her to show her true interest. And if she doesn't come, you save yourself the time and heartache. Remember, real respect and attraction come from within. Let her come to you because you're worth waiting for. Conclusion. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. If a woman is ignoring you, chances are she already knows your value, and she's chosen not to care. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the reality many men avoid facing. You can't force respect or affection by begging or chasing. Sometimes the problem isn't her, it's the way you let yourself be treated. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment you stop chasing, stop begging, and start valuing yourself first, that's when everything changes. You become the man who commands respect without saying a word. You become the prize instead of the fallback. I want to hear from you. Have you ever ignored someone who ignored you? Or maybe you've been the one ignored and didn't know how to react? Drop your experience in the comments. I read every single one, and I promise to reach out because this isn't just about teaching. It's about building real connections with men who want to level up their lives. Remember, you're not alone in this. Let's figure it out together.